going on? Jebb here, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about the Bitcoin drop that you witnessed overnight. As you probably already know, if you've been watching Bitcoin like a hawk like I have all morning, Bitcoin dropped to around $58,000 last night and is currently bounced all the way up to $60,800. Lots of people are concerned about this. Jebb, is the sky falling? Is the bull market over? No, in fact, I'm not worried about this drop. I'm excited by it. And in this episode of Coffee and Crypto, we are going to be explaining exactly why we are looking forward to the next couple of days on Bitcoin and why you shouldn't be worried about Bitcoin. Instead, you should be looking forward to what is about to happen. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, TA Tim. How you doing, Tim?
It is a great morning.
It is a great morning.
Virginia Tech is done with Fuente.
God bless the Hokies.
So that's, good start. I also am very much in love with what Bitcoin is doing. And
you're rocking so much VT right now.
I had to. Usually it's Fridays, but, you
have the hat, the mug, and the shirt.
Tuesday morning, I wake up to some of the best news I've heard. And that is, as much as I love Fuente as a person, he is no longer the coach of Virginia Tech. Go be the coach somewhere else. Let's get an offense.
Who do you think's going to hire him?
A local high school team.
That's pretty rough. We're also joined, as always, by Smay. How you doing, Smay?
Hello, everybody. I just want to say, before I introduce the members that I want to shout out today, I would like to say, guys, this is the golden opportunity. Just if you're feeling uneasy or you're having a bad day or you're thinking that you need to sell, do not. In fact, do the opposite of selling. Buy more.
Diamond
Guys,
hands.
literally, this is the biggest Black Friday sale before Black Friday I think I've ever seen. And literally what I did, and just to know, put my money where my mouth is, literally at 3 a.m. I saw the dip and I bought more Bitcoin.
Let's go, Smay.
So guys, this is why Jebb says have a cash portfolio on the side.
Yes, sir.
As well as your trading and investment portfolio.
Indeed.
So then in moments like this, you can buy more. Anyways, I would like to shout out the members. I would like to shout out, first and foremost, Bubba the Crypto Hobo.
I love that name.
Tom Wilkes, and Crypto Alchemist. Thank you guys so much for being members. We love you guys. A lot of new cool stuff coming to the membership program soon, so make sure you check it out. There's a link below, guys. That's it. Thank you, guys.
I feel like we're always saying, man, there's really cool stuff coming, but it's because there is always really cool stuff coming. Like, we're always working on dope stuff behind the scenes. Like, no matter where Bitcoin is, whether it's up, whether it's down, we are always working hard to bring you guys more high-quality, educational, informational, and entertaining content here on the channel. Just to kind of give you a rundown of what's going to happen in today's show before we get into it, we're going to start off with an altcoin market rundown. And yesterday we heard your feedback. You said, Jebb, why are you talking about Zcash and Icon? We don't understand. Like, what's the point of talking about these projects? So today we're going to be talking about Phantom, Algorand, and we're also going to be talking about one called Arweave. And the reason that we're going to talk about those three altcoins is because they are some of the biggest losers in the last couple of days. And myself and our research team think that they're pretty good buying opportunities. They're good projects, and we're going to explain what they are and why they might be a good place to buy in right now. After that, we'll go into our first intermission, jump into our Bitcoin analysis. We also have several news stories to talk about. Number one, we're going to be talking about the amount of money flowing into cryptocurrency. We have an institutional inflow story we want to run over. We also have to talk a little bit about the Twitter CFO because he is butting heads right now with Jack Dorsey, CEO and founder. And then we also need to talk a little bit about whale accumulation and look at a chart that Kelly tweeted earlier talking about how we might be at exactly the same point that we were at in 2017, just 2 months before we hit all-time high. A lot of really interesting stuff and comparisons to draw between 2017 and now that we're going to jump into. Then we'll jump into Ethereum, and then we'll close the segment, close the show by having some discussions around where the market is right now. We got a really great show lined up, guys. I am really, really looking forward to it. Tim, did you buy the dip?
Oh, I didn't because I am not in a place to buy right now, but I also, the last time I bought Bitcoin was sitting here at 50,000. So I'm still in profit with that last buy.
There you go. Yeah. I still have some Bitcoin I'm holding all the way from $3,000 back when I got into crypto.
No, that's good too. I think I have one purchase in my history. Back in, I want to say around April, I bought it around 62.
Oh.
I think I bought about $500 worth. That is the only purchase I made of Bitcoin that currently is in a loss. Every other purchase I've ever made is currently in a positive position.
When in doubt, zoom out.
Yep.
Well, guys, let's go ahead and jump straight into some altcoin technical analysis. As I said, we're going to start over here on CoinMarketCap. We're going to jump into this, and as I said, this is what we're going to be looking at some of the biggest losers by valuation. by price action over the last couple of days. And we're going to be looking at these because they seem to be pretty good buying opportunities based on the research that we've done on their fundamentals. As I said, we're going to talk about Phantom, we're going to talk about Algorand, and then we're going to talk about Arweave. And we are going to jump into all three of these. We're going to start with Phantom. Phantom is down over the last 24 hours, 11.5%. It is down 24% in the last 7 days, and it is number 6 here on the biggest losers out of the top 100. Phantom is a good project, and a lot of people are very big fans of it. I don't have time to go too much into the fundamentals right now, but as you can see on its line chart here on CoinMarketCap, it has had a pretty big drop. If we look up Phantom over Tether, then we can take a look at its technicals and do a little bit of analysis. There are several things that we want to talk about here on Phantom that give us reason to believe that we might be at or close to a buying opportunity. Number one, there is a trend line that jumps out at me right here on Phantom. It shows up based on this local high back over here. In fact, I think that was an all-time high on Phantom at $2 back on September the 10th. It also anchors as support right here after Phantom broke that all-time high, and now we're coming down to test it again in just the last 24 hours, right around $2. $2 seems to be a strong level of support for Phantom, but I will point this out. If Phantom does, in fact, break through $2, then we're probably going to see a head and shoulders forming. I don't think that that would play out fully just because its price target would literally be negative, but the fact of the matter remains that there is potential for a bearish formation setting up. On top of that, if we look at the daily chart here, we can see that the volume has been gradually declining over the last couple of months, and I would basically chalk this up to the fact that the alt market has been relatively boring recently. We haven't seen a lot of exuberance from the altcoin market. Pretty much the only altcoin that seems to be performing very well in the top 5, 10, 20, 30 is pretty much Ethereum. There are some others, but for the most part, Ethereum is one of the ones that is still performing well, and as we're going to talk about in one of our final segments today, Ethereum isn't doing that great either, and is kind of doing what we thought it was going to do. It's having a correction. It's not something that we should fear. It is something that we should actually welcome. And that's kind of the story that we're trying to tell you guys today. Yes, certain things are dropping, but is that a reason to be worried? Absolutely not. It is absolutely not a reason to be concerned. Taking a look here at our MACD on Phantom, we can see that MACD has pushed us pretty far to the downside. We had a bearish cross back over here on the 31st of October. I wonder what day that is. It's the day before November. We also saw it drop quite a bit, and in doing so, if we take a look here at LuxAlgo, then we'll be able to see that there was a sell signal today. This does not necessarily mean that right now, as in this very moment at 9:37 a.m. Eastern Time on 11/16/2021 is the perfect time to buy Phantom. The point I'm trying to make here is that a buying opportunity may be opening up in the next couple of days, and if it does, you want to make sure you're ready for it. Right now, Phantom is in a confirmed downtrend as far as I'm concerned based on LuxAlgo. How do I know that? Well, we have this, which is the trend catcher turning red. That is our early warning sign that something bearish might be about to start happening. Then we see that a sell signal came in today. Then if we look down here at Lux Oscillator, we can see that 3 days ago, Lux Oscillator started trending down as well. That pretty much means that we have had all three of the major confirmations from LuxAlgo tell us, hey, look, Jebb, this market's going into a downtrend. Where might it find support? Probably right here around $2, maybe as low as the bottom of the EQ cloud, sitting right here around $1.60. A lot of this is going to have to do with the fundamentals. The fundamentals are strong, and I do think that it is going to do very well, Phantom is. But right now, we might be entering buying territory. I'm not necessarily saying that this very moment is the time to buy it, but I do think that a buying opportunity is opening up on this project. So if you guys are fans of Phantom, then you're definitely going to want to keep your eye on it. Next, we're going to move up to Algorand. This is another one that we definitely want you guys to be informed on. It's ranked number 21 on CoinMarketCap, $10 billion market capitalization. Has a max supply of 10 billion, and this is another very, very good project. I don't have time again to get into the fundamentals, as I said, but I do just want to show you why this might be a decent opportunity for you guys if you are looking to find some altcoins to invest in. We're going to look at, let's see, Algo over USD, probably on Coinbase. Yeah, on Coinbase, you can see that there is a very similar thing happening here on Algorand that we saw on Phantom. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail here because pretty much everything I just said about Phantom still applies to Algo. Basically, what we saw happen here that is different is that Algo has been in this gigantic symmetrical triangle pattern that we talked about a few days ago. It tried to break bullish and it failed. I have seen this happen so many times, guys. So pay close attention whenever you see a market go into a symmetrical triangle pattern. It tries to break out, and then it fails. Whenever this number happens, that's normally a pretty bearish sign. That's pretty much what we've seen right here. Basically, what that means is that Algorand is in a downtrend, and we see that there is not necessarily confirmation yet, but very strong inclination that we're going to see more dips. from Lux Algo. We saw a strong sell signal. We saw that the Lux oscillator has trended to the downside. Now, the third and final confirmation we need, based on my strategy with Lux Algo, is we need to see the trend catcher right here turn red. If that happens, we've had all three signals, and that means that we're probably going to be trending to the downside. Now, the thing you have to keep in mind here is that unlike on Phantom, Algorand is ranging. It is not so much in a clearly defined trend. So, I'm going to put a little bit less stock in Lux Algo in this case, just because Lux Algo likes to give good signals when you're going clearly up or clearly down. When you're trading sideways, as Algo is here, it can be difficult. But the final thing I'll say on Algo is that for any of you guys wanting to get into this project, you aren't far away from critical support. There's a downtrend right here that's been in play for the entire year. We just touched it last night, and quite frankly, the fact that we've been trading sideways in this level between $1 and $1.50, and then again between $1.70 and $2.50 means that we're building a ton of VPVR support in this zone, which is going to give it a lot of support moving into the future. If Algorand's fundamentals are able to keep up, then it probably will end up having a very bullish rest of this cycle, so definitely keep a look at that. Now, the final one we're going to take a look at here is called Arweave. Guys, make sure you hit the like button down below if you haven't already, by the way, because we are bringing you top quality altcoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, news, all of this coverage, because we want you to have everything that you need to know to have a good day in crypto. And if you want that, then hit that subscribe button as well. Let's take a quick peek here at Arweave. Now, this is really interesting. I just learned about this cryptocurrency this morning, and I'm really excited about it. I'm going to be doing some more research on it this afternoon. In fact, it's one that I might even be interested in investing in myself. The cool thing about Arweave, and I'm going to tell you this one sentence, and then we're going to dive into the technicals. I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail on it, but get this. The entire Solana blockchain is backed up on Arweave. That's nuts. That's really, really cool. I don't know that I need to explain just how cool that is, but it's very cool. The entire Solana blockchain, which in case you don't know, is ranked number 5 and is worth $70 billion, backs up their blockchain on Arweave. It's a cloud storage and cloud computing, a cloud storage blockchain solution. Really interesting project. As far as the technicals are concerned, if we look at Arweave over Tether, there isn't a whole lot of actual price history on this. You can find some on Huobi going back to 2020, but for the most part, it's kind of hard to find a long-term history of this market because it is relatively new. First thing that jumps out at me here is that Arweave is kind of doing what we saw happen earlier on, I believe it was Algorand, where we're breaking bullish out of a symmetrical triangle pattern here, but we're kind of falling over. This is not a good sign to me, guys. I just got to be honest with you, but this is kind of the point I'm making with these altcoins. Look, all three of them have sell signals here on Lux Algo, and quite frankly, I have a feeling this is why the research team put these to me. They're like, Jebb's going to find that all three of these have a sell signal and think that's funny, and you're right. I do think that's funny. We have a sell signal right here, and we're pushing down into the EQ cloud. Basically, what I'm seeing happen on this project is it broke bullish out of the symmetrical triangle pattern, isn't able to maintain it, probably because of the lack of confidence in the uptrend that is happening in the cryptocurrency market right now. In short, this project seems like a very bullish project in the long run, especially if it has a partnership with someone like Solana. That is a big deal. The way that Solana got so powerful is because of big partnerships and because of big money when Solana and the company that's working on it behind the scenes got started. Arweave has that connection. I can tell you right now, it's not about how much you know, it's about who you know. I have learned that in the cryptocurrency YouTube game, and that is absolutely true for this project. That being said, the sell signal on Lux Algo has not been confirmed with a red trend catcher, but it has been so far like half confirmed by Lux Algo, trending down and breaking below the 0 level. So right now, what I'm thinking on Arweave is that it probably has a little bit more bearish action to go before a buying opportunity opens up, but I think one is in the cards. So here's the point I want to make with all three of these projects. All three of them have just had confirmations of bearish price action. They're probably going to go a little bit farther to the downside before they finally actually hit rock bottom, as it were. But here's the thing. Just like for a young man, one of the best things that could ever happen to a cryptocurrency is hitting rock bottom. Why? Because you find where your support is. You build strong support. You build foundations so that you're able to build a bull market. That's what we want. We want these cryptocurrencies to have corrections. We want them to drop. We want them to do that. We want them to do that. We don't want them to just keep going up forever, because if they do, one, you don't have a good buying opportunity because they're always overbought, and two, you don't have the ability to know that these are not just hype-based projects. How many cryptocurrencies, we even talked about this on Around the Blockchain yesterday, how many cryptocurrencies were number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on CoinMarketCap back in 2017 when I got here that are nowhere to be found now. Bitcoin Cash, I'm looking at you. Neo, I'm looking at you. IOTA, I'm looking at you. All these projects that were big, like Icon, we talked about Icon yesterday, and Zcash and Monero, all these projects that were huge, top 10, top 15 projects, gone because they got built. They built a price action on hype. We don't want that. We want these projects to build their price action slowly but stably on the back of fundamentals, because if they don't, they'll get left behind. So these projects seem to be ones that are doing such a thing, and that's why I brought them to your attention. With that said, Tim, we got several minutes to check in with chat here. Do we have any super chats?
Well, let's see here. I have not been watching the chat as much. We don't have any super chats?
Oh, no, that's a first. It's been a while since we haven't had any going into the first intermission.
You know, but I do have some thought, and what I'm going to do is, in T-Stream, can you look at the chat and just see if there's any good questions even in chat?
Yeah,
but while we're there, you know, I was doing the TA alongside of you, and I actually, you know, started. I didn't know if you were going to ask me or not, but I'll go ahead and answer it, even though you didn't ask me.
Okay.
Of those three,
Tim,
I
have a question to ask you. Go ahead.
Of those three projects, I really liked when I was looking at it. I liked Phantom's chart.
Yeah.
I didn't dislike Algorand altogether, but I think that Algorand did not quite do everything it needs to do and has a little more to go.
Yeah.
And I think that Arweave, that's how it's pronounced, right? Arweave.
Arweave.
I think that it has a lot of things going good for it. I think you're right that it has a little bit farther to go. Arweave and Phantom are for sure in early stages of ascending wedges.
Yeah.
Which long term, you know, they will have their correction later, but right now they're both getting close. Phantom and Arweave are getting close to touching the support levels of their ascending wedges. And what I really loved about Phantom, and I didn't know if you pointed this out, I didn't catch it, so if you did, forgive me. Phantom has a massive bullish RSI development.
I actually literally found that right when you were talking just now. I see it.
I love, like, look at the other
take a look
things.
at my chart. It's there.
So when we're talking about these three projects, and if you, I was, you know, putting words in your mouth. Tim, which of these three projects would you invest in?
Tim, which of these three projects would you invest in if you can only invest in one? Boom, there you go.
Phantom. I loved what I was looking at on Phantom. The truth is, I probably will go invest in a trade today.
Yeah, no, Phantom's a good project too. Yeah. We don't have a lot of time to get into the fundamentals. Tim, have you done any research on Phantom? I haven't recently. I just got to be honest with you. It's one of the ones I'm looking more into.
Not fundamentally, but what we just looked at on that chart. The chart
looks good. No, it does have some massive bullish RSI divergence. And even looking out to the weekly chart on Phantom right here, we can take a look at Lux Algo. I don't know, but I have a feeling it's under a buy signal. Yeah, it's under a strong buy signal. Now, it is kind of in jeopardy of, you know, going belly up. But to be honest with you, Phantom, see, this is kind of the point I'm making. Phantom is very, very extended right now. I think that it is a good buy for the long run, but I like that bullish RSI divergence. But here's the thing about that bullish RSI divergence. You could see the market drop a lot, like down to like $1.50, and the bullish RSI divergence would still be in play. So the argument of bullish RSI divergence is true, but we haven't confirmed that this is the bottom yet. Once we do confirm that this is the bottom, then the bullish RSI divergence argument is going to be very strong. But until we do, we actually don't know if it's, I mean, just pretty much no matter where the market bottoms out is going to be bullish RSI divergence. But we don't know the bottom's in yet. You know what I mean?
No, I don't. That's what's kind of cool about all three of the projects, though, is that, like, I think there's a great time. A lot of times you hear about great buying opportunities when it's too late.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is actually the reason I love what you just did, Jebb, is because you just highlighted. I think all three of those actually going to have good buying opportunities. Come in the next couple of hours or days.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's why I love
this is a great time for you guys to go look at these charts, make your own decision, on how much if you're like, hey, this is a great project to invest in or trade, decide how much you're willing, your risk to reward ratio, and then you now have ahead of the time. Hey, we're not quite at that buy moment yet, but it's coming really soon.
Yeah, guys, and by the way, that's why we're trying to do more altcoin analysis, because we want to give you guys these picks before they become a big deal. We want to catch the trend as a leading indicator, not a lagging indicator. So if you like that, hit that like button. And we have a ton of super chats now.
We have some now, so we can go ahead and jump into some of those questions. First, I see one from Jonathan Reisman, and I think he said something along the lines of this the other day too. Please cover KDA, or that's KDA. It is making a ton of money. Why are all YouTubers ignoring this? I think he kind of echoed that sentiment the other day.
I saw a bunch of people talking about that project on Around the Blockchain yesterday, and I thought that because I have a history in video games, I thought they were talking about KDA, the group from the League of Legends universe, but I'm just a nerd, I guess. So
I just went to the chart. It is a massive we had a massive poll, and then we had a flag and then another poll on top of that one that probably played out. I'm looking at the way it was drawn up. It was a perfect. TA would have called that one perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
We're in another, looks like a bull flag right now.
Oh, my goodness.
So,
oh, my goodness. This is a beautiful chart. It's a stupidly overextended chart, but it is freaking beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Thank you, John.
Put that on the... So, guys, just so you know, another thing we do here on the show now is that we do a little altcoin rundown, which is user selected at the end, viewer selected at the end of the show. So we can look at KDA a little bit more towards the end of the show. So if we can take a note of that, we'll definitely do that.
All right, let's go. Keep moving on. Eye of the Beholder said Cyber Tuesday, folks.
Cyber Tuesday. Is it Cyber Tuesday?
LFG.
I was going to say, I don't
I'm
think
just
no, it's
I think next week's Cyber Tuesday, isn't it?
It's not even Cyber Tuesday, it's Cyber Monday.
What?
I feel like an idiot. I knew that.
I don't know that.
I've been trolled.
Education to me.
No, I've been trolled.
Juan Pedrojita said, good morning, guys. Still here. Okay.
I was thinking
I think he said
Tuesday.
TA. He meant TA. He put YA. Any TA on AVAX, have a blessed day.
We can look at AVAX. I really like Avalanche as a project, just in general. You know what? Put that in the notes. We will talk about that at the end of the show because I actually do have some things I want to say on Avalanche that are probably not going to be well received. But I like the project, so don't get me wrong. But I'm not too thrilled about the technicals right now.
We got a couple minutes left.
Yep.
Let's see here. We have one from John Finnell saying, God bless you all. Thank you so much, John. Moving on. Nick Johnson. I'm gonna read this. I have 28 ETH at an average price of 2,300. Do you think it's smart to convert any into Solana?
I think it's smart to take profits whenever you are concerned about losing those profits. There's nothing wrong with taking money out of... So here's the deal. There's two different ways that you can look at this. Number one, you can take Kelly's point of view, who's one of our researchers, and actually an interview with him is going out on Saturday that you guys don't want to miss. It's really cool. We had a great talk. You guys are going to love this video that's coming out on Saturday, so stay tuned for that. He is under the opinion that, hey, be careful about jumping between moving trains, basically meaning, hey, if you're in this project, don't fall for the grass is the greener on the other side narrative. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with locking in profits in Ethereum and then rotating some of those profits into Solana, in my opinion. I do think that Solana is a serious contender for Ethereum's position, but at the same, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not in your position. I will just say this. I think that Solana is a good project, but I wouldn't go all in on Solana because I have seen a lot of projects try and compete with Ethereum, and they have failed and they have crashed hard. I'm looking at Neo. I'm looking at EOS. I'm looking kind of at Icon. I'm looking at a lot of projects. So I wouldn't bet the farm on the contender. I would make sure to, all hail the king, or I suppose the queen of crypto. Well, so long as she still reigns.
Rather than thinking it's going to kill it, they're both going to do well for a while.
Which, by the way,
just
Solana,
start a new bag.
The people exactly, and the people that make Solana even said, "Hey, look, we're not trying to compete and take over Ethereum. We're not an Ethereum killer. That's not what we're trying to do." I believe they're even quoted as saying, the founders of Solana are even quoted as saying, there are multiple car manufacturers. We want there to be multiple DApp platforms, and that's a good way of looking at it. Guys, if you're enjoying today's stream, we only have 670 likes. Let's see if we can't get to 1,000 likes here in the next couple of minutes. I really appreciate it, guys. Helps to promote us in the algorithm. I think we have time for one more. Jump back into the segment.
Mike Casio said, so with all the red we see, all this liquidity going back into Bitcoin or into alt? So he's asking, with all the red we see, is it going back into Bitcoin or alts? Also, any thoughts on Quant versus Link?
I haven't looked too much at Quant. I've looked at Link. I actually have a bag in Link. I made a video on that a couple weeks ago. I love Link. As far as your other question, I think a lot of people are right now realizing some profits that they've made over the last several months. And when so here's the deal. We saw most of the projects that are in cryptocurrency at this level 6 months ago. A lot of people bought the top. Like, for example, let's say Tim only ever made one purchase in Bitcoin. Is that $500 purchase at $60,000 that he talked about a minute ago? If that was his only purchase and he was not well versed in crypto, as most people are not, you got to realize the people in this chat are like the top 1%, the cream of the crop as far as knowledge of crypto. Most people they don't know a whole lot about crypto, and there's nothing wrong with that. We want to be the people that help educate them. I didn't know anything at one point, so I'm not knocking that. But my point is, a lot of people will see Bitcoin drop 50% and then say, oh my gosh, I finally broke even, now I'm going to sell. And I think we're seeing a lot of resistance at the all-time high right now because people are saying, oh, I finally broke even, I'm going to sell and get out because I'm scared. Once those weak hands get shaken out, then the sky's the limit. Then we're going to be able to do very well, but I think that is going to take a little bit of time. With that said, we're going to move into my favorite segment. I just got to be honest. I love Bitcoin. I'm not a maxi, but I do love me some Bitcoin, and in this segment, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. The very first thing that I want to do here is is I want to look at Kelly Kellum's Twitter. He is one of our researchers, and he posted this morning. If you guys haven't followed Kelly yet, you need to. I don't know what you're doing with your life. He is an amazing guy. He tweets a lot. He's got a lot of really great price action things for you guys to follow. Bitcoin is looking an awful lot like 2017, as it was entering the end leg of a parabolic slingshot. Don't worry about the small dip. We are still in bullish structure. Tune into Crypto Jebb for a complete rundown of what is on with the market today. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. Take a look at these two pictures. Number one, we're looking at October to November of 2017. I'm going to show you this on the chart in just a second. There was a 13% drop, followed by another 13% drop. Guess where we were trading? $5,000 and $6,000. Guess where we went? $20,000. Now take a look at where we are right now. Had a big rally, had a 15% drop, had another 15% drop. What's the time period? October to November, 4 years later. It's kind of funny how that works out. It's almost like history repeats itself, or at least it rhymes with itself. That might be what's going on right now, because here's the deal. Not only do we have similarities in the time of year that we had these corrections, at the same time, let's take a look at this market. He's talking about in his tweet this period of the market right over here. Just to give you context, I'll zoom out and show you where we are. We're sitting here in the 2017 bull market. We're talking about this market right here, October 12th or so to the end of October 2017. What did Bitcoin do here? Bitcoin had two major drops. Once, it dropped 15%. Next time, it dropped 13, 14, 15%. Traded sideways for a couple of weeks here. Guess what happened after that? After Bitcoin finally broke resistance, which, by the way, guess what? This resistance it was trading under was just above the previous all-time high. It was sitting above all-time high, but just a little bit, kind of what we're seeing right now. Guess what it did? It rallied 225%. Well, let's just say that Bitcoin were to rally 225% from where we sit right now, or from the local high. Where would that put us? It would put us at $220,000. Huh. It's almost like we've been saying at the end of this bull market, we're expecting a $200,000 to a $230,000 Bitcoin. It's almost like we've been saying that. It's almost like it rhymes. I'm just saying. Right now, Bitcoin seems to be doing the same thing that it was doing at the end of 2017. Now, one thing I will point out that I think is different in these two cases is that this happened very late in the bull market. I think we're probably only about halfway through the bull market. I think Bitcoin is not going to just go up 2.5, 3x in the span of a month like it did here. I don't think Bitcoin is going to rally to all-time high 50 days from now and hit 200K in 50 days. That's not what I'm saying, as it did here. I mean, we even see that by the fact that we traded sideways here for 20 days, and so far we've already traded sideways for 33. I think we're in kind of a lengthening cycle here. I think the market is slowing down a little bit, but it's going to have a similar price target. But here's the deal. At the same time, Bitcoin had the same correction, and we have the same price prediction based on the same percentage gains following a breakout above all-time high. That's really something special, and that gives us confidence in the future on Bitcoin. What that means is that we should feel confident, at least somewhat based on that, in the future of Bitcoin. Should we be worried about Bitcoin right now? I don't think so. Should we be excited about where Bitcoin can go? Yes, but don't let your emotions take control of you. Make sure you are staying reasonable, but also make sure you're keeping your head up, because it can be easy to get discouraged when we have a drop like this on Bitcoin, and that is the last thing that I would want for you. With that said, let's go ahead and take a look at some of our technicals. Of course, guys, as always, we are going to show you the bullish side and the bearish side. We try very hard on this channel not to just show the bullish narrative and not just show the bearish narrative, because we don't want you guys to be blindsided. I want to make sure you guys are always taking into account both sides of the story, because if you don't, you will get wrecked. I guarantee you it will happen at some point. If you, for example, Tim, you were in debate when you were in high school. How bad would it have been if you went into a debate not knowing what the other side was going to say?
Oh, that was the worst. I mean, it happened several times.
Yeah.
That was the scariest thing about when you'd go to a new competition. You never debated that person before, never heard them
Going
talk,
blind.
never knew what they were going to say. So that's why we would do our due diligence and give each other information on each other.
Exactly. So if you want to be a good debater, you got to study your competition. And if you want to be a good trader, you got to study the other side, or as we call it, the bull bear. We were talking about the bull bear this morning. The bull bear is on the thumbnail today because the bear has laser eyes. He is secretly a bull. It's pretty funny. Anyway, taking a look here at Bitcoin. One of the first things that jumps out at me here on Bitcoin is that we have broken an uptrending level of support. That uptrending level of support sits right here. And the reason that, excuse me, it doesn't sit right there. Let me redraw that. It sits right here. This uptrending level of support is coming from several different levels that we have set previously. We've set a high right here on September the 7th. We set a low here on October 27th. And then we also have a low here around 61,200, which was set today. And there's different ways of drawing this uptrend, but in general, Bitcoin is attempting to, not attempting to, it has broken bearish below this. We can even see it right here. There are several different uptrends that it has theoretically broken depending on how you draw this. Like I said, you can also draw it here. But the point is, Bitcoin has dropped quite a bit, and it has brought in quite a lot of bearish price action. That said, if we take a look here at MACD, MACD is also pretty bearish. We had a bearish cross back over here on October 23rd, and that has been in play for quite some time. This just goes to show you how powerful the MACD is. Look at where that bearish cross was. Been trading sideways the whole time. Again, I say trading sideways, not trading down, because we are technically still setting higher highs and higher lows. So long as we're above 56,000, we're still in a confirmed uptrend because we're setting higher highs and higher lows. That being said, we don't know where exactly the bottom is just yet. Now, the RSI gives us some very interesting data. This is the first time the bulls have given up the 50 level in quite some time. The last time RSI was below 50 was a month and a half ago at the very tail end of September, on September the 30th, and we were in an uptrend then. This is the first time that we've seen the bears take control of the market from an RSI standpoint. What does that mean? Well, it means that the bears are powerful, but it also means now that there is some very powerful RSI divergence that is bullish. Take a look at the bottoms here. We see that there are higher lows on the bottoms and lower highs, lower lows, excuse me, on RSI. What does that mean? That means bullishness. Now, I hear what you're saying. For all of our advanced technical analysts out there, or people that remember what we say, which you should, hopefully you're paying attention, right now there's also bearish RSI divergence playing out on Bitcoin, as constituted by these highs over on October 20th and November 10th, and then we have a downtrend right here. I get that. Here's the deal with that, though. I think that this bearish RSI divergence that we pointed out a week and a half ago has played out. Why has it played out? Well, the RSI dropped from 70 to 45, and the price action dropped 17%. I think that's played out, so I'm going to knock that out. That being said, we have not seen the bullish RSI divergence play out yet. Why? Because it just got confirmed today. It didn't exist yesterday. The RSI was above 52 yesterday, and it certainly was the day before. We talked about on yesterday's live stream, hey, look, guys, Bitcoin is probably going to pull back down into that level between $60,000 and $62,000. Where is it sitting right now? $61,000. We also said, hey, look, guys, Bitcoin could theoretically pull all the way down to this uptrending level of support as low as 54K, maybe even 53. Has that happened yet? No, but could it? Very much so. It definitely could. Do I think that's going to happen? I'm inclined to believe that Bitcoin is going to hold above 56,000, which is a local bottom that we set on October 28th. But I could be wrong. We've been wrong in the past, and that is why we like to show you guys both sides of the story, because we don't know everything. We just don't, and it would be irresponsible of us to claim that. Now, taking a look here at our candlesticks, we can also see that there was a bearish engulfing candlestick formation that happened yesterday. That is a confirmation of bearish price action. And that lines up very well with some of the other things that we are seeing. Now, taking a look down here at actually, before we go to the 4-hourly chart, I want to show you the VPVR as well. Just take a look at this, guys. This is why we talk about VPVR, I can speak today, is because it's very important. If we look at VPVR, guess where the support zone is on VPVR? 61,300. I have been harping on, Tim, have I not been harping on that level for 2.5 weeks? That level is so important. Why? Because it is the peak of VPVR. We're currently sitting right on it. We're sitting at 61K, but we're close enough that you can say that we're at the peak of VPVR. Basically, what we're at right now is, drumroll please, a decision point. It's almost like I say this every single week, probably because Bitcoin is always making decisions about its future. Right now, Bitcoin is trying to decide, hey, am I going to pull back down here to this uptrend and maybe down to around 54, or am I going to hold this longer-term uptrend and manage to maintain a rally and go back up to 70? That is something that only time will tell. I personally think Bitcoin is going to hold above 56K. Could be wrong. If I am, it's a great buying opportunity. Nothing to be worried about. Now, looking down here to the 4-hourly chart, we get even more information, especially on the RSI. The RSI has well and truly fallen into the bearish control zone. You can see it happening right here. I accidentally deleted my RSI. Let me get that back up really quickly here. Right now, on the 4-hourly chart, Bitcoin has fallen all the way down to about 50 or so. I'm going to see if I can bring that to the front really quickly. It won't let me do it. That's annoying. Either way, RSI has dropped all the way down to 28 here on the 4-hourly chart. That basically means that we are oversold, and it means that we should be expecting some kind of bounce today on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is bearish right now. That's absolutely true. But I don't think it's bearish enough to have another giant crash today. The reason I say that is because The overall cryptocurrency market doesn't feel exceptionally bearish. It feels exceptionally boring. And when you're very boring, that can cause the market to drop, but it normally doesn't cause the market to just plummet. I don't think the market is just going to plummet. I think that what happened overnight was predicted by something that we talked about yesterday, this bear flag right here. We talked about this bear flag, I believe, on Monday, and I think we even talked about it on Friday, how this bear flag would have a price target of about $60,000. I swear, guys, you guys know that humility is a core value of us. I'm not trying to pat ourselves on the back here, but what I am trying to do is make sure that you're confident in technical analysis, because there's a lot of people that look at technical analysis and they think, that's crazy. That doesn't work. Well, it does. I've been doing it every single day for over 4 years, so yes, I'm biased, but I have seen technical analysis call so many things. I'm not giving myself any credit. This is stuff that people have discovered for the last 100 years. I'm just the messenger. I take no credit for it. I just think it's really cool. Anyway, taking a look here at MACD, we can also see that the MACD did cross bearish, but something interesting is happening in the last 4 hours. On the last 4-hourly candlestick that opened 2 hours ago, there is currently bullish histogram reversal going on. That basically tells us that the market is attempting to bottom out, and that also shows up in the fact that there is a sort of dragonfly doji here on the 4-hourly chart. It's not a great example of one, I'm just going to be honest with you, but it kind of is. We have a very long lower shadow here. This giant dip means that the bears took it too far, and the bulls said, no, actually, we're not going to go that far to the downside, and then they bounced us. We also see that there was a kind of a lopsided, but I would call it a spinning top right here at 2300 hours last night. So that was 11 o'clock last night Eastern time. We saw this spinning top. Basically means that there was indecision in the market. As we know, indecision is one step away from a trend. It is generally a way that we can see a trend reversal happening. And then even down here on the 4-hourly chart, we can see that a bullish engulfing candlestick formation is trying to form. And I said 3 hours ago, in the next 56 minutes, in the next 54 minutes, if this closes anywhere above 60,900, that is going to be a bullish sign. Now, take a look here at the volume. This is interesting. The volume is actually trending to the upside. We've seen a bunch of red candles, but the candles have actually been above the volume moving average here for the last day or so. What does that mean? It means that there's a lot of volume coming into the space. That might seem like a bad thing because it's bearish volume, and you're right, but I want to see volume of any kind right now because Bitcoin has been trading sideways so much. I want to see some volatility. I want to see something happening in the cryptocurrency space, because here's the deal. For all of you guys who are worried about this price that we saw over the last 2 days, here's the thing. It's just as easy to go on exchange and short the market as it is to long the market. With that bear flag that we talked about, if you had shorted the market and pushed us all the way down to $60,000, you would have made money. Not because the market was moving up, but because the market had volatility. And that's one of the points I want to make, is that the market having volatility is something that is very beneficial for the trader, no matter whether it's bullish or bearish. A lot of people forget that. Just because your long-term portfolio might not be appreciating in value as much as you'd like, that doesn't mean that there's not opportunity down here to make some good trades. Now, another thing I want to show you is the Bollinger Bands. You can see that we are ridiculously below the Bollinger Bands on the 4-hourly chart. Indicates that we should be looking for a bounce. That one's pretty simple. And then taking a look here at the VPVR, remember the point of control, as we talked about, is at 61,000 to 61,300. We are just barely below that. We're pretty much sitting only like 0.25% below it, which means that if we see any kind of bounce today, we could be back up above that in no time. We are sitting right here on a knife's edge trying to figure out, are we going to push to the upside or push to the downside? I mean, VPVR even kind of looks like a knife right now because it's so tall. That's what I'm talking about. I want us to see a movement to the upside. Now, there's only a couple things I want to look at down here on the hourly chart. First thing is, there is a gigantic hammer formation that formed. This is when we had this giant dip down to 58,000 around 5 o'clock this morning Eastern time. This is a gigantic hammer. It's not the best looking hammer in the world, but it is technically a hammer, and this pretty much tells us, hey, the market found a bottom. We're also seeing the last 3 hours, there are 3 strong green candlesticks, and we very well could be turning these into 3 white soldiers patterns. If that happens, that is fantastic. Okay, so we'll take a breath. Cool. All right, let's do this. Guys, we're also going to talk about Market Cipher. Market Cipher has quite a lot to say on Bitcoin right now, and we're going to go back out to the daily chart and run straight down the list. Right now, Market Cipher is giving us some, as I said, interesting signals. The first thing is the money flow has been moving to the downside ever since November the 10th. The RSIs are moving to the downside. Momentum's trending down, and the VWAP is below the 0 level. All of this to say we are in a confirmed downtrend. That's pretty much what the Market Cipher is getting at here. It's basically saying, hey, look, guys, the market is moving to the downside, and it's probably going to continue that way. And by the way, guys, if you're enjoying today's stream, smash that like button. Tim, how many likes are we at right now?
We are currently at 1,000.
Hey, there we go. Let's see if we can't get to 1,500.
We have 4,000 people, though. So
oh, we do? Awesome.
We have 4,000 people in 1,000. I think we could do 1.5 within the next 3 minutes.
I think we can definitely do that. Yeah. Smash that like button if you guys are enjoying today's stream, and drop a +1 in chat if you guys appreciate the encouragement whenever the market drops. I'm here for you. Look, I genuinely live and breathe because I want to make you guys financially successful. I had my life changed by cryptocurrency, and it is only right for me to try and give back to you guys. I live to help you guys become financially free and financially independent, not only of poverty and debt, but also financially free from financial institutions and systems that don't have your best interest at heart because they print money into oblivion and devalue the dollar. But I could digress forever. We're going to jump back into Market Cipher. Right now, Market Cipher is quite bearish, and it tells us that we are in a downtrend. But we do need to have some technical indicators kind of confirming things every once in a while. One thing that is very important here is that DBSI gives us a 12 and then a 15. This means two things. Number one, it means that the market has sell side pressure, and number two, it means that the sell side pressure is increasing in magnitude. We saw a 12 turn into a 15. As you guys know, a big number on Market Cipher DBSI is a pushing force. It's pushing the market away from it. A small number on Market Cipher DBSI is a pulling force. It's pulling the market towards it. So if we have 15s and 12s, those big numbers up on top, it's pushing the market away from the top, which is what? Pushing it down. We see these -5s down here. What does that do? It's pulling the market towards us. That's what DBSI is telling us. It's one of my favorite indicators inside of the Market Cipher package. I do enjoy it, and we can see that it is giving us some bearish signals. If you were here yesterday and you watched us do our Market Cipher TA, you would have seen this 12 flash right here, and you would have known, okay, that is telling us that the market is probably going to have some corrections. We even talked about over the week, right before the weekend started, how there's several big numbers showing up here on top of the candlesticks indicating sell side pressure. So that's why you want to tune in every single day so that you guys get that kind of information. But anyway, looking down to the 4-hourly chart, let's also take a look at Market Cipher DBSI. Let me see how we're doing here on time. I think we're good. Yeah, we're still doing pretty good. Good deal. Yeah, perfect. All right, so looking down at the 4-hourly chart, things look actually a little bit different. It's really funny. The hourly chart and the 4-hourly chart are telling us different things almost every single day. Whenever the daily chart's saying bullish, the 4-hourly chart says bearish. And whenever the 4-hourly chart says bullish, the daily chart says bearish. I may have just said the same thing twice. I don't know. But the point is they're different. You know, it's kind of, no, they never agree. It's like a bickering couple. But right now, the 4-hourly chart the 4-hourly chart Market Cipher might actually be looking like a buy signal setup, and the reason for that makes a lot of sense. As I said, it looks like we're trying to put a bottom in down here, so I would expect Market Cipher to be saying that. Looking down here at Market Cipher, you can see that the money flow is rounding. RSI is trending to the upside. Sorry, that's not money flow. That's VWAP. VWAP is trending to the upside. It was so curved that it looked like money flow. Money flow is sitting green, and momentum looks like it could be having a green dot coming in soon. Just going to be honest with you, in about 4 hours, there's probably going to be a buy setup here based on Market Cipher. If that comes in, you're going to be excited for it. I think that this is a pretty good thing. When the RSI ticks up like that and VWAP ticks up like that, that's generally a signal that you may have found a bottom. So definitely pay attention to Market Cipher on the 4-hourly chart. You're not going to want to miss out on that. And then also taking a look here at DBSI. Let's see what DBSI is saying. We have a 10 on the bottom. What does that mean? Remember, big numbers, pushing force. Small numbers, pulling force. We see that there's a 0 on top, 10 on bottom. That means that DBSI is telling us, hey, there's bullish pressure down here on the 4-hourly chart, and we're excited about that. Now, I'm going to quickly look at the 1-hourly chart, and we're going to move fast on this one because it's bullish. It's just bullish. I don't know how else to say it. It's just pretty bullish. Right now, we see that there's a giant rounding bottom happening on momentum. It is a higher low than we saw over here on November the 12th, which they're close to the same level, but they are technically higher lows. This basically is called an anchor wave and a trigger wave. This means that we could see a larger movement in the long term. We also see a couple of green dots down here. They even show up down here. That is a pretty good sign. We can see the money flow is rounding and trying to put into a bottom. RSI is trending up and VWAP is trending up. All of that to say, I'm just going to be brief on it. Basically that the 1-hourly chart's very bullish. Now, take a look down here at DBSI. This is super interesting. Look at how the DBSI has been looking ever since we hit down here around $61,000. Even before we finished the correction, DBSI had been saying, hey, look, 10, 18, 13, 12, 22. Then now, I feel like I'm calling football plays or something. 16, 13, 16, 23, and then 22. All of those are very bullish signals. There was 116 over here, but in general, DBSI has been saying, hey, look, guys, market seems to be bullish. Seems like we're trying to put a rounding bottom in, and that is exactly what we're doing, putting a rounding bottom in. So with that said, We're going to go back out to the daily chart before we move into the rest of our technical analysis because we still have a little bit more to do. Tim, do you think that we're putting a rounding bottom in? Do you think that the bottom is in for right now, or are we going to see another leg down?
I have a range. I have a range that I actually expect us within the next couple of days to be in. I said this yesterday. Guys, if you remember, if you were on the show yesterday, great, you remember this. If you weren't, Jebb, did you still have that line on your chart, the level of support from the 20th of July to touching it right there in the 3rd
Yes,
of September?
I do. And I talked about that. Yeah, show it.
I think that over the next couple of days, we're going to kind of, when you look at the lower charts, the 1 hourly and the 4 hourly, there's actually a lot of bullish stuff happening.
Yeah.
The daily chart, not necessarily. I think the daily chart still shows that we have a little bit more room. And I'm really hoping, this is where I just do not know. We are in a descending wedge that could potentially send us up a little bit, but I know that we're going to have to make our way over to that line to keep this healthy rally.
Yeah, do they see that on my screen, Smay?
The question is, are we going to do that in a sidewards fashion with the bear with laser eyes, or are we going to do it in a bear? Is that bear going to lose his laser eyes?
The bull bear.
And we're going to go down.
Is the bull bear going to win?
The truth is, though, either way, we're in a great range. I think Jebb talked about it. I didn't have it the line drawn at 56. I had that line drawn at 58, 50, right there around 58,000. Guys, as long as we stay above 58,000 and we keep moving to the right, this is not bearish at all. This is actually just part of a rally. And so the next couple of days, I actually expect we might have a wick go down into the 50s, but I think candles will close in the 60s. I think there's a lot of support in the 60s. We're going to move sideways. And then the question becomes, all right, what happens over the weekend? There's going to be a lot of questions happening there. But just so you know, it is okay if the answer is we're going to go down a little bit.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Absolutely. Well, guys, let's go ahead and dive right back into our technical analysis. Then we're going to continue that discussion here in a minute. We're going to start down here on the 4-hourly chart with Lux Algo just to save a little bit of time. A lot of really cool things going on down here that you do not want to miss. Number one, take a look here at Lux Algo's sell signal. Pretty much called this entire downtrend. And interestingly enough, we saw an X happen down here. Now, I need to kind of back up and break down the way that you're supposed to read Lux Algo. Lux Algo is not designed to have a strong buy signal show up at the very bottom, and it's not designed to have a strong sell signal show up at the very top. That's not what the sell and buy signals are for anyway. What Lux Algo does attempt to do is it tries to give you a little red X or a green X whenever it's saying that you should take profit. So basically what this red X that showed up here was saying is that if you entered a short trade when you saw this sell signal, then you should probably exit that short trade. This combination between the sell signal and these X's, in the same way that we saw a bullish example over here, strong buy signal, then a blue X. This was a long trade that it was telling you to take, and this was a short trade that it was telling you to take. If you had Lux Algo and you made those trades, you would have, in this case, made 7% to the upside with no leverage, and in this case, would have made 10% to the downside with no leverage in a grand total of 8 days. You would have made like 15, 20% with zero leverage just by following Lux Algo blindly. Not that you should do that, but if you did, you would have done well. The point I'm making here is that Lux Algo is not saying that the bottom is in yet, but if the market does have a bit of a rally, then it could. The first thing that normally happens is you'll normally see the Lux Oscillator start to round. So if we start seeing Lux Oscillator round like in the next 4 hours, then that could be a very good sign. On top of that, if we see this trend catcher, which is this line, turn green, then that would be a very good sign, indicating that we're bullish. And then also, if we saw a buy signal, that would be very bullish. Here's the thing. Lux Algo tries very hard, and I know I'm personifying a mathematical equation here, but it's easier to understand if I do it this way. Lux Algo's algorithm tries very hard to not catch false bottoms. It works very well in trends. You can see right over here, you're getting a lot of signals, and you're like, man, what is Lux Algo doing? These strong buy signals, strong sell signals, like, what is Lux Algo doing? This is because the market was trading sideways. Lux Algo is not a ranging indicator. It is a trending indicator. You want to use it when the market is moving up or down, and especially when the market is changing from moving up or down. Back over here, we were trading sideways. Notice these strong buy signals when the market was in a clearly defined trend worked phenomenally well. Right now, what Lux Algo is trying to do is it's trying to say, hey, is the market going to bounce enough for me to really be confident in this bottom? If Lux Algo is confident enough in this bottom, it might have this trend catcher turn green. It might see a strong buy signal. Be on the lookout for that. Hasn't happened yet, but it very much could. And here's the thing. I think that that is going to occur, but I think it's going to take a little bit if it does before it does, if that makes any sense. If Bitcoin is going to have an uptrend, it's going to take a little bit before we see confirmation coming from Lux Algo. And the reason is very simple. We just want to make sure that the market is healthy before we get any kind of buy printing. Now, looking down here to the hourly chart, things are different. There is a lot different, actually. We're above the trend catcher right here. You can see this sell signal kind of called this downtrend. We saw the red X say, hey, get out of your short trades, which was a good call. Then we see this green dot coming in on Lux Oscillator. This is basically saying, hey, look, the market is rounding. We even got into the trend reversal zone down here, and that is very bullish. So what is Lux Algo saying? Lux Algo is saying that we are trying to put a bottom in, but it doesn't want to give you a bad signal, so it's waiting a little bit longer for confirmation. It's very simple. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go into some news. We're going to read some headlines, move through them very briefly. If you guys are enjoying today's show, smash that like button. Let's see if we can get to 2,000 likes here relatively soon. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. And like I said, drop a 1 in chat if you are thankful that I'm not doing this to pat myself on the back. The reason I'm asking this is because I want to make sure that we're providing you the right content. Drop a 1 in chat if you like it when we come here and we try and encourage you guys, because I know it can be scary when the market drops. I understand that losing money is scary. You don't want that to happen. You got to work very hard for that. So tell us if that's what you want us to do. Do you want us to, like, hey, it's all right, and encourage you guys and make sure that you are feeling comfortable whenever the cryptocurrency market drops. Obviously, I don't want to coddle you, but I do want to make sure you're not freaking out. Let's take a look here at some news stories. Some of these are very, very interesting. In fact, all of them are extremely interesting. Bitcoin sees record institutional inflows despite lower H2 trading volumes. What does all this mean? I'm going to break it down very briefly with this chart right here. Weekly crypto asset flows. What does this show? This shows money in the millions flowing into or out of cryptocurrency. The number on the x-axis down here represents weeks after January 1st of this year. So take a note of this giant money flow, $1.4 billion of crypto asset inflows happening right here. That was the day that was the week that the Bitcoin ETFs launched. It's an outlier. But what you do need to look at are all of the other data. Don't look at this giant candle, but otherwise look at all these other bars. They're generally trending up. What does that mean? It means more money's flowing into the cryptocurrency space. And here's the deal, guys. It is very, very, very simple. If money comes into crypto, the price is going to go up. Why? Because when money comes into crypto, people are going to be buying crypto, causing the supply to go down, causing the demand to go up, and simple supply and demand economics necessitates that the price increase whenever that happens. Now, I understand some of this money is coming into crypto and just immediately shorting, but not all of it is. The vast majority of it is pouring directly into investments. How do I know that? Because I see more money flowing into the decentralized application space. I see more companies launching every single day. I see the Solana ecosystem go from 20 projects to like 200 projects in the span of 4 or 5 months. That's how I know that money is going into investment in cryptocurrencies, because I see it happening on the fundamental and institutional level. So this money coming in is a good thing. It's not all shorting the market, as some people would lead you to believe. And by the way, a lot of that money is flowing into not just Bitcoin, but it's also sometimes flowing into Ethereum and other assets. You can see it right here broken down by week, month, and year to date. A lot of this money is flowing into Bitcoin, yes. In fact, if we look at assets under management, $55 billion of it is Bitcoin. This is pulling from CoinShares, by the way, but $20 billion of it is in Ethereum, and there's many hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars in other assets. Money is coming into the market in a wide variety of places, and this is a good thing. Why? Because it means the market is growing. Is Bitcoin going to be able to continue dropping as institutional investment continues going up? No, it won't happen for long. It might happen for a week. It might happen for a month. It won't happen for a year, so long as we continue to see money coming into the space. It's just the way it works. Take a look here at this article. This is pretty interesting. Twitter CEO has a very, Twitter CFO, or I suppose as Elon Musk popularized, the Twitter master of coin, has a very different take on Bitcoin investment from CEO Jack Dorsey. Kind of going to just read the headline here, but it's kind of interesting. If you want to pause and read this, you can. Pretty much Siegel, who is the CFO, which is the chief financial officer. We have a chief financial officer. That is somebody who is in charge of all the money. That's why they call the master of coin at Tesla. He has a very different take on Bitcoin than the CEO Jack Dorsey does. This isn't really a story yet, but it could be. If these two get into a tussle over what Twitter should be doing, it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of things could go on at Twitter HQ. Anyway, take a look at this. This is probably the most interesting of the stories, which is why I saved it for last. Bitcoin whale activity hits levels last seen in 2017. What this means for Bitcoin price. Just going to pause, take a look at this chart. See this line, this blue line over the price action? This is the 2017 bull market, then this is the 2021 bull market. Take a look at this token transferred mean. This is basically a way of seeing whale activity. The whales were moving a bunch of Bitcoin moving into the end of the 2016-17 bull market. Whales are moving a bunch of Bitcoin right now. What does that mean? It means that we are somewhere around the middle point of the bull market compared to the middle point of the last bull market. Where was the last time we saw whale activity like this? When Bitcoin was trading at $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, when it would eventually go to 20. What does that mean? It means that we're probably at best, or at worst, I suppose you could say 50% of the way to all-time high, if not more. And by the way, this ties in very well with what Kelly was tweeting, saying that Bitcoin is having a drop very similar to what it saw in October of 2017 compared to what we're seeing right now. All of this to say that this bull market is not over. We might have a correction. Guys, I'm going to be just blatantly honest with you. As Tim said, we could drop all the way down here to like $50,000, $55,000. Could happen. Is that the end of the world? No, it is not. It is an opportunity. If it happens, keep your head on your shoulders. Everything's going to be just fine. With that said, we are going to go ahead and go into our next intermission. Stay tuned because we're about to jump into Ethereum, and I have a lot to say about Ethereum. You're not going to want to miss it, but we are going to start off by reading some chat, and then we're also going to, if we have any altcoins to do a little snapshot on, it looks like we have two, KDA and AVAX. Those are the two we're going to do. We'll do those after we look at Ethereum, but for right now, we're going to go ahead and read some super chats.
Got a couple shout-outs, and then we're going to go some quick fire chat. Shiva Prasad, welcome as a Jebby youngling.
Ooh,
so join
welcome.
the membership program. April Sue, welcome to the Jebby Masters.
Welcome.
So 2 new members. Glad to have you here. We're so happy that you're on our team. Moving into questions, we have one from, man, I proofread the questions this time. I did not proofread all the names. So this is going to be fun. Jerusha Francisco.
There you go.
Can you talk about Loop Ring? And we actually talked about Loop Ring on Wednesday last week.
Oh, you guys talked about it when I weren't here. Oh,
so,
wasn't here.
Go back last Wednesday's show if you want to, because we talked about the fundamentals. We gave some rough long-term TA that we were looking at there. So, Jerusha, go back and watch that show. Let's see here. We got another one from Aaron Dapp saying, I'm concerned, isn't this supposed to be Moonvember?
So here's the deal, and here's why I don't really use the terms Uptober or Moonvember. The market will move the way that the fundamentals dictate, but it won't always move when the public desires it to. Moonvember is a way of instilling hype in you, and I try not to do that because I don't want to get your hopes up that Bitcoin could have a giant rally in November. I do think, and this is why I talk about this, I do think that we're going to have a big rally before the end of the year. But I don't think that we're going to have a giant rally I do think we're going to have a rally in November, but that narrative is kind of under fire right now considering we're having a correction. So I'm trying to keep you guys, emotionally in check.
Yeah, also remember the Composite Man wants everyone to think one
exactly,
thing, so.
Yeah.
Connor Gray said, love this content. Opinion on Moon River, so that's the project, MOVR.
Haven't looked into it.
Yep, sorry about that, Connor. That's something
we're looking into a lot more altcoins, but we haven't looked into that one.
Let's see, we posted this here twice.
At least I haven't.
Ish Kurunsi. I think we've said that.
Kurunsi.
We've said this name. He has 2 super chats, so I'll read both of them.
Cool.
But I think I've read that one before. September 20th was the last time we had this many longs liquidated.
Yep.
Could this dip? Could the dip past the psychological $60,000 level simply have been a cascade effect?
I can actually check that right now because I have a data source for looking at liquidations. I don't think so off the top of my head, but I do think that is in the cards. I think long liquidations are something we need to be on the lookout for right now because there are a lot of people that could be getting wrecked relatively soon. If I take a look here, let me see if I can find anything on this. Looks like we have actually had a decent amount of liquidations here. Jump on my screen real quick and I'll show them what I'm talking about. Excuse me. Over the last 2 days, we had... That red is so hard to see. $420 million of longs liquidated yesterday. Nice. And then today we saw $360 million of longs liquidated. So I take it back. There actually have been quite a bit of long liquidations, and that is going to play into the fact that we saw this giant correction. And by the way, if you want this website, it's called coinglass.com/liquidation data. We're not sponsored by them or anything. This is all free data. So check it out. I have it bookmarked up here on one of my research tabs. Full screen.
His other question he asked was also zooming out to the weekly. Could we call this a bull pennant on the weekly chart?
Let's see here. Let us see. Absolutely, we could. Yeah, no, this is something I've been talking about for a while, actually. Basically, I wouldn't call it a bull pennant. I actually call it an ascending triangle pattern. It's pushing on a wedge, but I'm not going to call it a wedge. Basically, what we're seeing is that there's pretty much a flat level of resistance, then an uptrend right here. Absolutely. And by the way, in case you're wondering, this bull pennant or ascending triangle pattern, whatever you want to call it, has a price target of north of 6 figures. So be very glad. Be very happy.
Crypto Alchemist, who was one of the winners of CT2A the other day, he won $200 slots. He said, working through CT2A And to me, it's looking like Heikin-Ashi with the MACD on the daily are looking pretty bearish. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, good point out. Yeah, that's one of the things I save for the members of CT2A is a little kind of trick indicator I found several years ago. Heikin-Ashi and MACD were the first strategy that I found back when I was really getting started in TA, where you use two different technical indicators to kind of confirm each other. It's what I do with Lux Algo, where I look at trend catcher, buy and sell signals, and oscillator. I look for saying, hey, I don't just want one opinion, I want three opinions. And if they all agree, then they might mean something. Basically, what we're seeing is that there is red on Heikin-Ashi and there is a bearish cross. You're absolutely right. According to that strategy, we're probably not done yet. And that's kind of echoes what I'm saying, guys. I'm not confident in that we found the bottom just yet.
Gotcha. We have a couple more.
Cool.
Try to get through quickly. Razik said, any thoughts on AVE this cycle? It is considered a blue chip, but has trended downward for the last few months. I usually accumulate below 280.
I think AVE is a good project, first of all.
Okay.
I haven't looked at the technicals recently, though, so I can't really give you a great take there. But I do think it's a decent investment. And just being honest with you, it is... I kind of feel like in a similar state that Cardano was in, where it had a giant run up at the end of last year, beginning of this year, and now it's trading sideways, locking in gains around 200 to 300 bucks. I think Aave is a decent buy, and I do think it's going to do very well. But it's one of those projects where we need to make sure that it just has to prove itself, I suppose, is the best way to say that.
Gotcha. Last two we got. J. Kaz said, my third biggest position is ADA. My average buying is $2.03. Okay, so he's saying he likes to buy around 230. I'm getting real nervous.
Yeah, if you're getting nervous, that means one of two things. Either one, you're overexposed to the project, or two, you're watching the project too closely. You should never feel nervous about your investments. If you do, there's some soul searching you need to do.
Last one from MV. Do you think the dip has to do with the regulations on crypto from the current administration?
No, I don't. In fact, I think crypto, well, first of all, there haven't been a ton of regulations on crypto from the current administration. There have been some things that passed in the infrastructure bill a couple weeks ago, but for the most part, they're kind of hands off on it. I mean, to be honest with you, the biggest regulation story we have is that futures ETF got approved. So I don't think that that's holding the market down. I think Bitcoin is rallying and doing very well considering this massive inflation data, highest in 30 years, which is BS. It's a lot higher than that. Excuse my French. It's a lot higher than that, in my opinion, but I could rant about the consumer price index and how much of a scam it is all day. I might do a dedicated video on that in the future just so you guys know how much of a joke that is. In fact, we should take a note of that. Tim, can you take a note of that? We should do a video on CPI.
CPI?
Yeah, the consumer price index. Let's look at that afterwards.
Better T-Shroom.
That is a T-Shroom thing. T-Shroom's helping us write new videos. CPI, consumer price index, and how much of a scam the inflation metrics are that the U.S. government gives us. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump back here into Ethereum because, guys, this day is really funny, guys. Right now, it kind of just feels like everything that we've been talking about for the last week is coming to pass. Why? Well, if you remember, to the last 2 weeks, we've said, hey, look, guys, Ethereum's in this giant ascending triangle, a giant ascending wedge. It's probably going to break down. Where's it going to go? It's probably going to go to $4,400, but it might go as low as $4,000. It's just funny. That's all I'm saying. It's funny. Ethereum here dropped down to $4,100, and it has broken bearish out of this ascending wedge. Look, guys, and I want to be clear on this. We've been wrong many times. I'm not trying to get all prideful, but I am very excited to see that the technical analysis that we're doing is working because it means we're bringing you guys good content. That's all I'm saying. I really am not trying to be prideful on that, so I apologize if it came off that way. It might have. I'm just trying to be funny, keep you entertained a little bit. Anyway, let's go ahead and look here at Ethereum and get an idea of what's going on. First thing I want to look at here has to do with our Lux Algo. Lux Algo has given me the first of three major, actually, it's given me the second of three major bearish trend signals. Number one, we've seen that Lux oscillator on Lux Algo has started to trend to the downside. And then number two, which is arguably more important, we've seen the trend catcher on Ethereum turn red. I may have said Bitcoin a minute ago. I meant Ethereum. The trend catcher on Ethereum has turned red, indicating to us that the market is in a considerable downtrend right now and is potentially starting something bigger. There is not a sell signal yet, but I'm going to be looking out for one over the next few days. I'm also going to be looking out for the color here to change from green to purple, because that could mean that this strong buy signal is no longer strong, but instead weak, which would obviously be the first step towards a sell signal. On top of that, the EQ cloud down here is giving us support in between about $3,400 and $4,000. And I do think that we are probably going to push down into that territory. In fact, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a little bit more confident on my prediction here on Ethereum than I am on Bitcoin. But Bitcoin has a lot of institutional pressure holding it up right now. Ethereum does too, but not as much. I do think at this point Ethereum's going to pull back down and test this uptrending level of support that has been in play for literally months. And frankly, I hate to say it, but this is another giant ascending wedge. We talked about how there's a nested ascending wedge right here. There's one inside of another. If Ethereum tests this uptrending level of support, there's a good argument to be made that it could break bearish out of this. And if it did, it could drop quite a bit. I don't want it to. I want it to maintain itself, and I do think it will. I think the entire cryptocurrency market is going through a little bit of much-needed consolidation right now following these giant rallies we've had. So I'm not saying that I think it's going to go down into the 3,000s, but I just want you guys to be aware of both sides, even if it's not popular for me to say it, that it is possible it could do that. Now, taking a look here at some of our other indicators, going to run through them pretty quickly. This is really important. This is something I talked about a few days ago. Last week, I mentioned this, that there was going to be a bearish MACD cross on Ethereum. It has now happened, and you can see that the momentum on histogram is not only down, but also accelerating down. It is accelerating its movement to the downside. This could mean two things. One, it could mean that the bears are taking over in a big way, but two, it could also mean that we're reaching a bottom because we're kind of putting in a V-bottom. What do I mean by a V-bottom? Well, a lot of times when the market drops, it will drop very quickly and then very quickly turn around. It's a V-bottom, V-top, that's what it's called, and it's an indication that that's what we could be seeing. Maybe the bottom's in. Maybe 4,100 bucks is the bottom. Maybe not, too. So which one do I think it is? I think it's not the bottom. Just to be clear on my stance, I think that Ethereum is going to be testing this uptrending level of support, whether that means it trades sideways for 2 weeks and it pushes over to it and it tests it at 4,200 bucks, or it drops in the next 2 or 3 days down to $4,000. I think at some point, some way, somehow, it is going to test that uptrending level of support. And I think it's likely to hold, but we just don't know that yet. So that's what I see on Ethereum right now. Let's take a look at the 4-hourly chart. Got some interesting things over here we want to talk about. Number one, there is a gigantic spinning top forming down here on the market. And there's also a giant hammer showing. The last two 4-hourly candlesticks on Ethereum are this hammer and then this spinning top. And you could argue this was a spinning top as well. What does this mean? It basically means that the market is attempting to have a rounding bottom. It means the market is doing something similar to Bitcoin. But compare Bitcoin to Ethereum here. Bitcoin is trying to set a bullish engulfing candlestick in the last 4-hourlies, the last 4 hour. Ethereum is not. It hasn't done that yet. Here's the deal. Whenever Bitcoin and Ethereum both drop, a lot of times Bitcoin will look stronger on its bottoms than Ethereum will. This is the reason that you should tune into shows like this, guys, is because I have been watching the market every single day for over 4 years now, and whenever I look at the market that much, I see things, I'm like, huh, I've seen this before, and you start connecting the dots. That's why it's very important to educate yourself, and I always say the best investment you'll ever make is one in yourself. I've seen drops before where Bitcoin and Ethereum and the whole market will drop at once. A lot of times, Bitcoin will have a more confident bottom than Ethereum will. Right now, Ethereum looks like it's having a less confident bottom than Bitcoin is, and that kind of agrees with my stance that I made earlier that Bitcoin might see some sideways movement over the next couple of weeks, but Ethereum might actually see a little bit more bearish movement. We might see more bearishness out of Ethereum, which also lines up with what I said about Ethereum being where Bitcoin was 3 weeks ago. I think Ethereum is right here on Bitcoin's chart. I don't think it has had this correction and consolidation yet because it's been just continually moving to the upside. I think, in short, Ethereum has much more hell to pay than Bitcoin does because Bitcoin's already paid a lot of its dues. Ethereum has not. Ethereum has rallied, let's see, $2,000, 74% in 41 days, and it has not paid any of that back. It needs to. It has a debt to pay, and it's going to at some point, whether it does it today, tomorrow, next week. I think time will tell, but it is going to come. Now, let's do a quick little check-in with the chat, and we're going to do our altcoin snapshot. This is a segment we like to do after Ethereum where we look at some user-suggested, viewer-suggested altcoins. And you guys asked earlier on in chat for KDA, Kadena, I think it's Kadena. I haven't looked into this project at all. I've never done technical analysis on it, so we're going to do some fresh TA. You're going to see what it looks like when I do technical analysis on a brand new project. And then we're going to look briefly at Avalanche because I have a lot to say about Avalanche. And as much as I love the project, it's probably not going to tickle your fancy unless you are a bear. So we're going to look at both of those. Let's go ahead and take a look at KDA. We're going to try and jump through this in less than a minute. First thing that jumps out to me on Kadena, whatever it is that it is in a gigantic uptrend. It has rallied from 34 cents, 9,000% in 100 days. Stop. Pause. Should you buy this project? Probably not. Why? Because it has already rallied 10,000%. Let's take a look at it over here on CoinMarketCap just to make sure Yeah, it's sitting at 57. It's already a $3 billion market. Could it double? Could it triple? Could it quadruple? Maybe. It definitely could. In fact, the technicals say that it might, based on the fact that it's got these symmetrical triangle patterns and bull flags that are actually, getting reached. We had a price target here of $11, went to $30. It has a price target right now based on this this kind of descending triangle pattern, this bull pennant, if you will, this bull flag, however you want to draw it up here. They all basically do the same thing. This has a price target up here at like $50. But the thing is, guys, I'm more interested in trying to find altcoins that are here rather than here. That makes sense? I hope that makes sense. I want to find altcoins that are here that have not undergone this massive rally rather than right here. I learned something very important from an analyst and a stock trader named Ricky Gutierrez many years ago. You guys may know Ricky. I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to meet Ricky sometime soon over at TechBud Solutions. One of the things he talks about, it's very simple, and I learned this from him 3 years ago, and I love it, and I've told people this for a long time, is that you'd never want to buy a project when you're not getting a good deal. The way that you figure out if you're getting a good deal is based on the RSI. Let's look at the weekly chart RSI. I think that's what's most pertinent here because KDA here has been in a long-term uptrend. Are you getting a good deal according to the RSI? The RSI is saying that we're sitting at 86. Have you ever looked at a car on Kelley Blue Book? Not sponsored by them, but I used to car shop before I bought my Camry. I was like, oh, what do I want? I don't know if I want this or that. And they have this little bar, and it says under market price, over market price. You're getting a good deal. I think it's okay deal, good deal, great deal, and then it goes bad deal, terrible deal, something like that. Basically, it's a way of saying, hey, are you getting a good deal for your money? Are you spending your money wisely? Are you spending $20,000 for a truck when you should only be spending $15,000 for this truck based on what it's worth on the market? It's kind of what RSI does also. RSI does a lot of things. You might look at RSI and be like, oh, it's just one line. It doesn't tell us that much. It tells us so much. It tells us the strength of the bulls, tells us the strength of the bears, gives us RSI divergence, gives us overbought and oversold signals, and in this case, it tells us if we're getting a good deal. Are we getting a good deal? No. You're not getting a good deal on KDA, and you are betting on the FOMO. You can make a lot of money betting on FOMO. I know people that have made millions on Dogecoin and Shiba Inu and SafeMoon and all these cryptocurrencies. You can do it. But you know what? You can also become a millionaire by playing the scratch-off lottery. You can also become a millionaire by betting it all on red. You can also become a millionaire by playing blackjack. You can become a millionaire doing a lot of things. It doesn't mean it's a good idea to try. You see what I'm saying? You can go to a slot machine and try and become a millionaire, but if you don't have a way of actually doing it with a logic and a reason behind it and a strategy, then you are betting on luck. It's not a good strategy when there are actual strategies out there that you can use to make yourself money in a realistic way. We were supposed to go for 60 seconds on that one. That was probably more like 5 minutes. So let's go ahead and move on here to Avalanche. Avalanche right now is one that I wanted to talk about because as much as I love AVAX, and I do think AVAX has a potential movement to, and by the way, I'm not hating on KDA. I don't know the first thing about the project. Maybe it is going to be a $20 billion project. I don't know. I'm going to research more on it because you guys are very interested in it. I'm not trying to knock it. I do just want to make sure you guys stay safe and are finding projects that are not super overbought. Now, as far as Avalanche is concerned, the reason I wanted to talk about this one, and I'm glad someone brought it up, is because it's in a giant ascending wedge, and it has been ever since May. This is not a bullish pattern. In fact, this is a pretty bearish pattern, and it tells me that we should be looking for a drop on Avalanche sometime soon. We should be seeing a drop. You guys thought I was going to make a pun there. I'm sorry. I didn't. I could have, but I didn't. We rallied all the way up to $100 like 3 days ago. Very bullish, very happy about that, but take a look at what happened on the daily chart. Had a big green candlestick, and then we've seen quite a bit of dip over the last couple of days. We're probably, one, going to come down and test this uptrend, and then we're probably, two, going to break that uptrend and pull back down to $80, and then you could also see it pulling back down to 50 or 44. Now, the one thing that does counter that point is that Avalanche is a very good project. I love Avalanche. I love what it does with the way it splits up its transactions, with decentralized application transactions going down one route and transactions of monetary going down another route, of the coin, of the token going down another route. I like Avalanche. I think it's a good project, and I do think it's going to do very well moving into the rest of this bull market. Technically speaking, though, it's overvalued and needs a correction. It's that simple. A lot of these projects do, and I think a time of reckoning is coming for some of them that you might not like, but that you will be glad came. Because once it happens, you are going to find great buying opportunities, the likes of which you haven't seen before. And by the way, guys, today's show is brought to you by ALGO. If you guys want to get access to the indicator that helps to bring you this show and that we use on pretty much all of our technical analysis, it's become invaluable in our analysis. You can sign up with coupon code Jebb, J-E-B-B, with the link in the description box down below to get 20% off, and you'll be helping to support our channel. So thank you very much. Only get it if you think it's going to provide value to you, though. I don't want you spending money on something that you don't know is going to provide you value. So give it a try. It is linked down below. Let me see if I can take a break here. Oh my gosh.
Do it.
Take a break.
A lot.
Yeah. Breathing exercises. I gotta get in my Zen phase before we move into our discussion. Okay, perfect. Tim, has holding this long made you immune to FOMO and FUD? Have you become immune to emotions? Have you become a robot in trading and crypto? Do you ever get scared? Are you a stoic?
I am not immune because I do have feelings. Just so you guys know, and this is something that we're going to talk about here in a little bit.
Wait, Tim has feelings?
You asked last week, but I'm going to get out ahead of the trolls. When people said, well, last week Tim said that he thought Bitcoin was going to 70,000. And this week he didn't. Guys, I actually think when I made my prediction last week, I said, guys, this is not really based on TA. This is based on a feeling. I'm still learning my feeling. This week I'm looking at TA and I don't have that same feeling I had last week.
Yeah, real quick, you guys, so who here lives in Florida or on the East Coast or in Louisiana or Texas, anywhere that you have to worry about hurricanes? Do you know the spaghetti diagrams whenever like a hurricane's coming in? You know how they change every single day?
Yeah.
You know how they have to update every single day with new data? That's what technical analysis is.
Yeah.
You still look at those even though they change every single day. One, because you want to make sure that you know what's coming so that you are prepared for them. But two, even though they change every single day, you still watch them because you know that they're somewhat relevant.
Yeah.
They might not be perfect and they might not give you an exact idea of what the future looks like, but at least gives you an idea. And by the way, those spaghetti models, the reason they show you 15 of them is so you get diverse opinions. That's why we try and show you both sides of the argument. You still look at those in the same way you still should look at technical analysis.
And that's what I love is every single day, the chart continues to develop and paint us a clearer picture. Not that we will ever perfectly predict anything, but like right now, I actually think we're in a long-term thing where we're painting a good picture on the chart to give us a good indication of where we think it's going. And therefore, my opinions change all the time. I would like to say long-term. Like I still think we're headed by the end of the bull run north of $150,000. That's when I'm still trying to look at the charts and let that picture continue to pan out. But as a whole, as far as my length in it made me immune to freaking out and being like, oh no, should I sell all of my Bitcoin and get out? Did I make the biggest mistake in the world getting into crypto? Absolutely not. If anything, day in and day out, it confirms it even further.
Yep.
I made the right decision. That leap of faith I took last August when Jebb convinced me to put my savings into Bitcoin, which he didn't convince me to.
I was about to say, I
made the choice.
didn't take any convincing.
He convinced me that it was worth it to do it.
I was just talking to him about it, and then he told me, yeah, I'm going to put like my life savings into crypto. And I'm like, real? Okay, all right. I mean, I'll help you, but.
Yeah. So, every single day I'm like, I'm very glad I made that decision. And that's a big decision to do that.
It is.
It's a
very big decision.
So immune, no. But stronger and very solid in what my belief system is in crypto, absolutely.
What would you tell somebody who is in that same position as you, where you were just getting into cryptocurrency, you've been there for a month, and you really weren't sure if it was a good call?
So here's the temptation. I was looking at a chart about this the other day. I got into Bitcoin when it was 11,000. By the way, at that moment, it was very easy to be like, dang it, if I had just gotten in like last year, there's a moment where it's at 3,000. And then people at 3,000 who got in were saying, dang it, I remember when it was about only like 900. Mm-hmm. And people got 900 and said, man, I remember when
it was 3,000. I'm like, crap, dude, 6 months ago it was $1,000. What am I going to do?
So, if you are looking at this right now saying, dang it, I'm late to the boat, it's at 60,000, darn it. That is what people a year from now will be saying, dang it, I missed when it was at $60,000. I should have got in. Mm-hmm. So you have to make the decision. You have to decide what is your risk to reward ratio. What do you want to do? But if your only thought is, man, I don't want to buy the top. Well, the question is, how long are you willing to be in? Because if you're willing to be in this long term, you are not buying the top, buying at 60,000.
Someone in chat said, don't fall for your temptation.
Temptation.
Well, we have weekly price predictions to do, and we also have some super chats to read.
We do. We have both of them. Which one do you want to do first?
Let's do super chats first.
Let's do super chats.
Let's do super chats first.
Super chats first. All right. Jeff Lodge said, why is there so much price action correlation between Bitcoin and the alts?
Because Bitcoin has 60% market dominance and the altcoins follow it, because the same people that are investing in Bitcoin are also investing in altcoins. So when people get freaked out about Bitcoin, they also get freaked out about altcoins. And so if they sell their Bitcoin, a lot of times they also sell their altcoins because they're scared and they buy them and sell them all together. You can think of the entire market almost like one giant index fund, and people are trading the index fund rather than the individual stocks, which in this case would be cryptos.
Matt C. Said it's Taco Tuesday. How about some lunch for everyone? He gave $50.
Hey, so thank you, Matt C. What do you say, Taco Tuesday?
Taco Tuesday.
Oh, dude, I could go for a taco right now.
This one, I'm going to get a stab at this name. There's probably multiple pronunciations, but I'm going to say Mireless McClure. but it could be, again, a lot of different things. Have you ever looked into Ecomi? It's a great project with an amazing opportunity for massive gains.
Looked into it some, and by some, I mean not much. I have heard a lot about it. I want to do more research on it, but I'm trying to learn a lot more about the top 100 right now. It's ranked 215, so I haven't looked into it too much. Could be one of those that's going to pop off. I don't know. We're going to find out.
Crypto Vet in chat saying always solid content.
Thank you, Crypto Vet. Guys, go subscribe to Crypto Vet. He's got some good content.
Yes, he does. Noel Segway. I think I actually got that one right.
Yeah.
Dent Wireless has an impressive fundamentals. Please perform an educated TA on this project for educational purposes. Thank you.
We might be able
I love how he specified that too. Educated TA for educational purposes.
I know, I love that. That's great.
I like Noel.
Yeah, we might be able to fit that in tomorrow. We can take note of that.
Yeah, whether we're able to or not, I like Noel.
Yeah, we'll see.
You're a solid guy,
you.
Noel.
Thank you very much to him.
Simpleman699 said, "Hi guys, sorry I'm late. I filled my bag with over 100,000 at approximately 179. Did I do good? Wow, man.
179 what on Cardano?
Yeah, I was like Cardano, or is there any other It says 1,79, but I'm assuming that means a period.
I hope he means Cardano. If you filled a 100K bag at $179, first and foremost, how much is 100K to you? Obviously, $100,000 is a lot of money to most people. Is $100,000 to you like 1% of your net worth, 10% of your net worth, 90% of your net worth? I don't know.
Donation was in pounds too. So.
Yeah. Okay. How much money is that to you? That's the question, because just statistically speaking, that is a hell of a lot of money for most people on this planet. So I would say just be very careful. Maybe that's not much money to you. Maybe you're worth $20 million. I have no idea, but just be careful.
He just
talking about 88. Look, Simple Man 699. I think that I see that. I think that we are going to have. Am I broadcasting from a Sub-Zero freezer? No, I've been talking for an hour and a half. That's why I'm hunched over. I'm sorry.
He did good too because he bought the bottom of the wick.
Yeah,
that was a good purchase.
I think it's a good buy, but I'm just worried about that number. Just be careful, man. Just be careful.
Yeah.
Did we get through all? Are there any more?
That was it. I mean,
cool.
At least so far.
Well, let's go ahead and do weekly price predictions.
So I have mine locked in, and Smay has his locked in. This is the question. T-Shroom, did you already have yours ready, locked and loaded? Almost. That's not a good answer. While if we read ours, then you guys could like try to strategize your.
To be honest with you, I'll tell you mine.
Go for it.
I'm making it up on the fly.
Do it. That's the best way to do it.
58,500.
58,500.
Yep.
I like it. I like it.
By the way, what this is, guys, we do weekly price predictions on Tuesday for what Bitcoin will be by the end of the week. These are for purely entertainment aspects. It's very difficult to accurately predict where Bitcoin is going to be at 9:30 Eastern in 4 days. So this is for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, but by the way, I'm actually even like when I tell my number, I actually have a range that I'm not going to be surprised. I have a range where I think the price is going to be. By the way, it's a $2,000 range, and I just went to the dab smack middle of it, saying, hey, we could go anywhere in here. But T-Shroom, you are
T-Shroom.
What do you got?
I'm going to say
56,700.
I like my.
I could see it.
56,700.
I could see him being.
After
right.
hearing your guys, I really like mine. Smay, what was yours? Do you want to read it or? Do you want me to read it?
Yeah. I put 53.9.
You put 53?
I mean, no, sorry, 63.9.
I was going to say, that's not what you texted me. That was like quite a swing.
63.9.
No, listen, I don't, T-Shroom, I think we're going to have to do a lot of work to get down to your prediction. But I commend you for going that low. Jebb, I think that we potentially will have a wick touching somewhat close to what you said, but maybe not before the weekend. I believe when I'm looking at it, there's lots of different lines going in. I think that the price is going to be in the range of between, let's see what I got here, 60,000 and pretty much 60,000 and 62.8. So I went ahead, kind of went dab smack middle. My prediction for this Friday is going to be 61,450. I do believe looking at the 4 hourly and the 1 hourly, we have some bullish things. Looking at the daily, we have some bearish things. I think we're moving our way down. I just don't know. As much as I like the numbers 58 and maybe even get down to 56, I just don't know if we're going to get there before Friday. That might be something.
So what was yours again? I'm sorry, I was responding to something in chat.
61,450.
Okay, gotcha.
So let us know. I'm gonna read all those again. Let us know in chat what you guys think. T-Shroom is the lowest with 56,700. Jebb is above him with 58,500. I'm at 61,450, and Smay is the highest at 63,900. Let us know who you think is right.
Yeah.
Put your prediction
Drop
in there.
a hashtag followed by our name, and also tell us what your prediction is in chat. We'd love to hear your prediction for the end of the week.
I just need to say this, guys. If you want your portfolios to be green, vote for me. That's all I gotta say.
Hashtag Turtle King. I like Turtle King. He won last week, and he might win again this week. Guys, if you enjoyed today's show, smash that like button. Let's see if we can't get 2,500 likes here before we wrap it out. Thank you guys so much for tuning into our show. We go live 9:30 Eastern every single weekday. We're pumping out a ton of content, and we're also pumping out a lot of content on our social media. So make sure to follow me on Twitter. We're sitting at about 33,000 followers. I'd love to be able to get to 100K on Twitter relatively soon. Not for my sake, but because I love giving you guys value over there, encouraging you guys, giving you tips, and just anything that I can to provide value over there. I love doing that. So make sure to follow us on Twitter and follow Tim and Smay and T-Shroom on Twitter. Tim is at the @crypto_beard.
Yep.
Smay is at Thicky Smay with 2 C's, 1 Y. Very important that you get that right. And then also T-Shroom. What is your Twitter? At TSHROOM, I think. Boom sauce. Guys, follow them on Twitter. Why? Because they provide a lot of great content. And also Kelly Kellum on Twitter, KELLYKELLAM. He provides a lot of great on-chain analysis. And also make sure to check out Lux ALGO. The link for that is down below. 20% off at checkout using coupon code Jebb, J-E-B-B. Great indicator. You'll love it. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for you today. Before we go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.